Bet Tips is back, and we done superbly last week. Firstly, just like to say thank you for the intro there, created by Ava. As you can probably see, a few people are editing videos and creating intros for me. Again, not a natural YouTuber, but thank you, Ava, for creating the intro, and Faith for editing the videos. Last weekend, so our banker bet once again was a winner. Great start to the Premier League, I would say. The games I watched were very exciting, very good to be back. But yeah, the Tottenham one was a close game, admittedly. I think Tottenham were lucky, to be honest, to get a win, but they pulled out and managed to hold on to the win, so that was very, very good. And then after that, to be fair, the two matches, Chelsea versus Huddersfield and Liverpool versus West Ham, were easy winners. So overall, the banker bet came in. As you can see, I staked £9, got a £39 return. As I always say with the banker bet, do around 80% of your funds that you wish to bet. Obviously, bet responsible. Make sure you don't overdo it, and also make sure that when the fun stops, stop, as they say. So this week's banker bet: Tottenham to beat Fulham at Wembley, Leeds to beat Rotherham, Juventus away to Chievo, Man City on Sunday to beat Huddersfield, and Aston Villa to beat Genoa, also on Sunday. So, Spurs to beat Fulham. Tottenham's run of form recently is good. Obviously, back in the last season and winning their first game away to Newcastle. So, again, they look strong. What you would find, I think, with the Tottenham team, obviously with the players coming back from the World Cup, they will gradually get better, albeit towards the end of the season could be a worry for Spurs in terms of fitness levels. But I definitely expect them to beat Fulham at Wembley. Obviously, they're potentially going to be playing at Wembley a little bit longer than expected, but it's a place that they managed to feel like home last year. So it should be fine. And yeah, Fulham, I think, will find it hard to obviously play at Wembley, potentially with the bigger pitch, but also versus a Tottenham team that, you know, at the moment, albeit they've done no signings, are looking very good. So the head-to-head stats for Tottenham versus Fulham: Tottenham won 6 to Fulham's 1. No draws recently. And also, as you can see, back in 2016-2017, Tottenham were clear winners, and Tottenham done the double back in 2013-14. So head-to-head wise, it's very strong in Tottenham's favour, but also I think recent form and the recent squads, Tottenham should be an easy win. Moving on to Leeds versus Rotherham. So Leeds are now dubbed the new favourites to win the Championship, ahead of their 4-1 win versus Derby County. Again, they looked very impressive, and obviously won their first game as well, 3-1. So form-wise, they look very good. Rotherham obviously picked up a 1-0 win last week, however got smashed 5-1 the week before. So based on that, Leeds are looking a lot more favourite at the moment to win this game. In terms of head-to-head games for Leeds versus Rotherham, it's pretty even. However, recently, back in 2016-17, Leeds did do the double, beating them 3-0 at Ellen Road and 2-1 away from home. So again, I expect Leeds to be able to be strong enough for this and obviously win. Not convincingly, but I'd like to say sort of 2-0 potentially. It could be a fairly tight game, but definitely a Leeds win. Again, moving on to Chievo versus Juventus. Juventus obviously very strong, 1-2-1 last week and 0-0 before that. And actually, to be fair, Chievo's form is very good recently. However, if you notice the head-to-heads here, Juventus have won 11, they've drawn 3 to Chievo's 0 wins, including a double last season. Juventus won both games to 0. So very convincing wins for Juventus, which is why I've gone for Juventus to beat Chievo away from home. So moving on to the games on Sunday, City versus Huddersfield. Only one winner here, surely. City are looking very, very strong. Obviously won the league, convincingly to say the least last year. And they're the team to beat potentially this year. Obviously won their first game versus Arsenal 2-0. And it's fair to say they were probably in second or third gear. So, and Huddersfield obviously struggled. Their first game lost 3-0. So this really should be a one-sided affair. In terms of head-to-head, City drew 0-0 the last game they played. That was right at the back end of the season. And remember rightly, they were crowned champions from that point. And before that, beat them 2-1. And obviously back in the FA Cup, smashed them 5-1. So, yeah, head-to-head maybe, albeit City's 2 wins compared to Huddersfield 0 wins, is one way to look at it. But I think recent form and recent squads, etc., will tell you this is a dead banker for City to win. And the last game on Sunday, AC Milan, the giants of Italian football, to beat Genoa. Now, recent form, Genoa, they've not had a great run of results recently. Obviously losing 2-1, 1-0, 3-2 and 3-1 the last 4 games. Milan winning their last game 5-1, a little draw in between, and a 4-1 and 2-1 win. So, again, in terms of recent form, Milan are definitely going to edge it. In terms of head-to-head, not convincingly Milan, albeit they've won 8 times compared to Genoa's 4. Last season beat Genoa 1-0 away from home, and actually drew 0-0 at Milan last year. So, it is still a banker bet. But recent head-to-head form doesn't show much in terms of Milan's dominance. But as you can see, recent results of Genoa look pretty poor. So Milan finishes off the banker bets. So just to end in terms of the banker bet, and just to confirm, like I said, 5-fold over Saturday and Sunday. Saturday 18th of August, Sunday the 19th of August. Tottenham to beat Fulham. Leeds to beat Rotherham, Juventus away to beat Chievo, Man City to beat Huddersfield, and Aston Villa to beat Genoa. So, as always, moving on to some long shot bets. Following the banker bet, I always look at either 1 or 2 long shot bets or long shot accumulators. For this one, I've gone for the anytime correct score. And therefore, at any point, these correct scores come in, then it's a winning bet. So the first game, Everton versus Southampton. Again, Everton looks okay, to be fair, albeit they drew, obviously, versus Wolves, due to the red card, I would say, albeit I do think that was a correct decision. But Everton look very good, and therefore I expect them to beat a Southampton side that last season were lucky to stay up. So therefore I've gone for 1-0 anytime correct score to Everton to begin with. Moving on to Tottenham versus Fulham. Tottenham again should be too strong for Fulham. Playing at home, their record at home is superb, and therefore again I expect at one point that to be 1-0 to Tottenham. Again, potentially could finish 2-3-0, maybe even 3-1. But I expect them to take the lead, definitely. West Brom versus Bournemouth. West Ham versus Bournemouth. In terms of West Ham, again, they've bought well this summer. A lot of attacking players, a lot of good midfield players. Defensively, they're not the strongest, I think it's fair to say. But I do think that they will start quickly. And personally, Bournemouth, great manager in place in terms of Eddie Howe, obviously the longest serving manager in the Premier League. But I do think West Ham will start fast, especially at home. They'll want to get the crowd on their side. And therefore, 1-0 as a correct scoreline, anytime correct scoreline, I think will be an absolutely fine winning bet there. In terms of Chelsea versus Arsenal, now these are always tight games to begin with, very cagey affairs. But Chelsea look strong. They look very, very good versus Huddersfield. and obviously beat them 3-0. Arsenal, to be fair, were playing the toughest team in the league, and we couldn't really read much into that. But I do think Chelsea will start the quicker of the two, again at home. So I've gone for a 1-0 correct scoreline to Chelsea again at any time. Now, City versus Huddersfield. Again, I expect goals. I expect City to win that easily, 3 to 4-0 potentially, maybe even more. City looked very, very strong, and they were probably in second or third gear. And Huddersfield, they got beat. They were obviously close to going down last season. So I expect them to definitely lose versus City. Therefore, 2-0 any correct scoreline were slightly better odds. So I expect that to happen, definitely, in terms of City to be 2-0 up. And lastly, Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. This is on Monday night football. Another great game to watch. Can't wait. Well, Liverpool, how good were they? They looked very, very attacking, but also very strong. And yeah, Palace are a good team, and Palace on the day could potentially upset. But I think Liverpool will be too strong, and therefore I've gone for Liverpool to beat Palace at any time 2-0. Last tip of the day, both teams to score in both halves. This has been quite a popular bet in a number of punters recently. It's obviously low stake, high odds, and there has been many punters who have placed 50p or £1 and won many thousands of pounds. So of course it's a long shot, but yeah, there is some science behind it. In particular, the two games that I picked, I've done some research based on recent goals or just head-to-head competitions, and there are some obvious signs that there could be both teams scoring both half options there. But like I say, this is obviously a long shot. 194 to 1. I've managed to get a free bet again from Sky Bet. So I placed that free bet. For a £970 return. I'd be extremely happy with that, as you can imagine. Some sites behind that, looking at the head-to-heads. So Reading versus Bolton. So as you can see, Bolton tend to concede quite a few goals. And Reading, to be fair, do concede also. So you tend to find with them type of games that, there's going to be goals there. In terms of head-to-head, their last two games in 2017 to 18 season were both teams scored. And therefore, it's clearly an open game. So, again, it is a long shot, but I think it's a long shot that could potentially happen. And lastly, Ipswich versus Villa. So, again, look at Ipswich's recent form. Obviously, they lost 1-0. But before that, 2-2, 2-2. They won 4-0, lost 4-0. So there's goals there. Villa, 3-2 last game, 3-1. So again, there's the potential there to, see a few goals. Again, this is a long shot bet. But when you look at some of the results recently, actually, there could be a case of there's going to be goals in this game. So, just to confirm, the last tip, therefore, was the double. Reading versus Bolton, Ipswich versus Villa. Both teams to score in both halves. A massive 194 to 1. So that completes my tips for this weekend coming. It's great to see the Premier League back. I think there would be a number of exciting games again to watch the highlights or watch live, obviously, if you're going to the games. Again, don't forget to look at my Facebook page. As you can see, Bet Tips. Also my Twitter page, Bet Tips 03. And obviously subscribe to the YouTube channel for more updates regularly as soon as they come. Thanks a lot.